Well, we did promise you an experiment, and we've got an experiment for you right here on Hip to Be Square. So, as you saw a little earlier on, break dancers are able to do some of the moves that they do thanks to a little something called centripetal force. And I'm going to explain this to you before we get into today's experiment. So, we've got a lovely little graphic of what centripetal force is, and it should be coming up on your screens right about now. And as you can see, there's a blue arrow and there's a red arrow. And the red arrow is exactly where centripetal force works. Now, as you can see, there's an axis, and when something spins around an axis, if it's attached via a string or maybe by a pole or something along those lines, that's where your centripetal force is acted. So as something moves round and round in a circle, instead of going off in its own direction, the fact that it's got a force that moves from the object that's moving back to the central point of axis is the centripetal force that keeps it going in a simple circle round and round and round. And this experiment was actually personified by a little something called a string attached to a ball and then spun around your head. Nice one. So today we're going to show you something similar, but only where the forces act differently, and all you need for today's experiment is yourself, a balloon, and a coin. So very simply, what you're going to start off doing first is take your coin, and what you're going to do is stick it inside of the mouth of your balloon first, and make sure that it gets all the way into your balloon before you start to inflate your balloon. Now, I would recommend getting the lightest color balloon possible, and if you're able to find clear balloons, that's perfect, because then you can see the motion of what's going on. So now I've done that, I've put my coin inside of my balloon, and then what you're going to do is inflate your balloon. So I've already got an inflated balloon right here, and then what you're going to do is obviously tie off your balloon at the neck. Now, your hand positioning is the most important thing. So what you're going to do is take your hand, and you're going to place it palm down over the neck of your balloon and spread your fingers out. So it's sort of similar as to how you would hold a bowling ball. Now the next part's quite fun, because what you're going to do is you're going to start twisting your wrist, and you're going to start spinning it around, and even though the coin might bounce for a bit, as you can hear, it's now actually rotating, and I'm going to stop, and you should see that my coin is still going round and round my balloon. So let me explain this to you very briefly. Like I said, centripetal force acts on the thing that's keeping your object attached to its central point of axis. In this case, there is no string, but what's happening is the fact that I'm moving the balloon is that the force imposed on the balloon is now being imposed on the coin inside, and that's where the centripetal force is being exacted on the coin, which is why even long after I stop spinning, the coin will keep rotating just like that. And that, in a very simple nutshell, is centripetal force. So the next time you see a break dancer doing a flare or a windmill, just remember that their arms and the upper part of their torso becomes the point of axis, and because their feet and their legs are rotating, the centripetal force is actually acting from their feet up their legs through the torso and back to their arms, and that's how they're able to do flares and windmills.